Waiting for that little eye. A little bit irritated. Had to wait just till right now when we started. Here we go. Ready?
Hey, you ready? All right.
Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. Welcome to episode 24 of Creative Makers Podcast. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, and today we got the very talented Rosie Kaplan with Brushed Restorations. How's everybody doing?
How you doing? Here she is.
There we go. How you doing, Rosie?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So we're going to start off by just saying or asking you, just give us a little rundown on how you got started doing the stuff that you do.
Okay. So my husband and I, he was in the Navy, and so we moved quite a bit. And then when he got out of the Navy, he started work. He did nuclear engineering for the Navy, and so we would move around quite a bit for his job. And we had a bunch of little kids, and so we knew we were never going to be in a home for more than 2 years. So I started getting really frustrated with all of our furniture that was pretty old. We didn't want to buy new furniture because we had small kids and we knew we were going to be moving. So we didn't know, what kind of furniture we would need for the new homes or whatnot. So I just started painting our old furniture to kind of give it a new look. It was old. And so I started doing kind of like artistic furniture. And all I would do is paint the furniture in my home, and my friends and family, told me, hey, like, you should sell this. You should try to make it a business. And I was like, no, there's no way anyone's going to want to buy my stuff or, have me do their furniture. But then right around the time I was 40, I had decided to kind of stop working. I did accounting, was like my full time. I did accounting for our family business. And I decided to, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take everybody's advice. And I decided I was going to start my business, Brush Restorations. And my goal was to, sell 2 pieces. And that first year I did really well. And so, I started doing, I didn't want to just paint, a black piece of furniture and make it white. I really was into something artistic. And, even though I ended up doing kind of the accounting stuff, I went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA for college. But then I never really did anything with it. So I think I've always had that creative side to me, but it wasn't until about 40 that I really kind of decided to do something with it. And, as much as I loved, and I still do furniture, doing furniture, the whole part of finding the older pieces that were still in good condition that I could redo just became kind of a lot, because I didn't work with power tools. I didn't know how to fix things. I just wanted to paint. And, there was only so many pieces of furniture in my own house that I could paint now. So, I'd walk around and be like, oh, that, but
as a child.
Yeah. So, having to go out and buy furniture pieces that, I could make a profit on, they either smelled or, you had to go to like great places to find these pieces, or you had to fix something. And, and so then my main thing with furniture was I kind of, I started doing a lot of paint pours, like on the top of furniture pieces or inside. I would try, at first it was the tops of pieces. And then I kind of, I wanted to do more creative. And so I would find ways to somehow incorporate paint pours. And then I decided that I wanted to start adding resin over the paint pour, so really protect it. And so once I had the resin in my house, I was like, oh well, I have acrylic paint. I could just add a little bit of that acrylic paint into the resin, and now I just need a few molds. But of course, once you start shopping for one thing, I see you laughing.
It's a rabbit hole.
Exactly, rabbit hole. I tell my friend I'm in a rabbit hole right now, and I need to not be, because I need to just stay in this lane and not try another thing. And then I go down like all these rabbit holes. My husband said, once you start getting good at something, you like stop and you try something new. And I'm like, no, but it's just so fun. Yeah,
we need a support group for people like us.
Yes.
There's going to be people like us there, and they're going to help us not do good.
Right. You're like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? You need to go out and buy this. Yeah. So I started, I started doing the coasters, and it's like, oh, but if I want to sell them, only having 4 molds isn't really like realistic. I want to do 20 at once. And then, you start trying all these new things and trying the, mica powders, pigment paste, just everything. And so, and then I started working with alcohol ink, and I don't know. I just now I'm all about trying everything, and I've started learning how to use power tools. Like I look at your guys' workshops, and I'm so jealous of everyone that has all these really cool workshops with woodworking. I don't even know what kind of saw I have, but I use it to make my wood panels, and it's ever that my husband bought I don't know 15 or 16 years ago, and I just want all new, and I want to learn how to work with all kinds of woodworking things. And I don't know, I feel like I'm just getting started, and I love it.
I'm good at spending other people's money. I can tell you what you need.
We're getting hopefully ready to do some construction here, and I'm actually going to get my own new workspace, and I really want to set it up with the right wood saw. I don't even know what I need,
we don't either.
But I don't really know what that is. So I need to go find a class that I can take that teaches me everything. Because there's only so many YouTube videos you can watch, and I'm at the point right now where I'm I can't watch 100 YouTubes and piece them all together to figure out what I need to it's just
The guys like to make fun of me because I go to classes, because I'm like, who else going to teach me? Like you said, I can only watch YouTube so much.
We make fun of you, but it's because we wish we could go to a class.
Well, I feel
I need the hands-on. Somebody really show me what to do. Don't skip a step to try and speed up the video. I need to know.
I know, and I've learned now. I don't really read. I listen to audiobooks if I'm going to listen to a book, and then all my YouTube videos that I am always watching to learn how to do new things. I've learned to listen on the double time speed, so it's
oh my goodness.
How's that go? How did that go, Rosie?
I don't have time to sit here and listen to it in normal. Come on, let's speed this up. So I can watch the stuff, and my kids or my husband will walk into the room, and they're like, "What are you listening to?"
You're the first. You're the first one that didn't fall for that.
What?
I say, well, how did that go?
Oh. I guess because I'm so used to my family saying.
No, you just keep up. No, you're fine. You're fine. Just
Okay.
don't get mad if it ends up on a reel.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you for joining us, Rosie. For people at home, my name is Jake Thompson. I'm from Northside Custom Crafts, and I do an icebreaker. My icebreaker for Rosie is, that is one cool chair you're sitting on. It's like a throne. Are you some kind of royalty or something?
I am. No.
Just yes. Okay.
No. Well, in the furniture world, because they're primarily doing furniture, and there's some like really cool stuff you could do to furniture. But because I started working with resin and, they maybe dabble in it a little, but then they did start calling me the resin queen, even though I'm like, I look at some of the other things that people do with resin and it's insane. But no, I have a lot of really cool furniture because I went, I would always go on Marketplace and it's like, even though I have a whole garage full of old furniture that needs to be painted, I still needed more. So I have all kinds of stuff in here that I can paint.
Awesome chair. Awesome chair.
A chair that I would like to redo one day.
You say that's the thinking chair?
It's my thinking chair. Yes. I come in here and I'll sit here or I just need to like rest my back because I just poured for like 3 hours and my back really hurts.
Goodness.
Okay. Good icebreaker. Good icebreaker.
Good job, Jake. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am Jen with Jen's Turn. And Rosie, I was looking at, like, for example, your geode behind you, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
I am like you. I go down all the rabbit holes, and I've tried this and I've tried that and all the things. I once tried a geode, and it did not work out so well. So I'm wondering, did I go wrong from the very beginning because I didn't wait and let the epoxy thicken up a bit? Is that how you get your colors to stay separated like that? Is there a trick to it?
Well, so you do it I don't really wait that long. I wouldn't say. It's just really with the geode art, it's all about layering and steps, So if you think that you're going to do something in one go, your work isn't probably going to be the best. It's going to maybe look different, but it's not going to be what you would typically see like when it comes to geode art. So it's just working in different. To create one piece, I probably go back to it about 6 times or so, and layering and the different things. So this one actually right here is what I do. I just put out a few online courses, and that's the one that I actually do in the geode art online course.
Okay. We'll have to check that out.
And speaking of rabbit holes, like I knew nothing about crystals. And once I got into doing the geode, oh my gosh. So I'm now like obsessed with all kinds of crystals. And of course I have so many crystals now and I'm like, oh gosh, do I really need more? And I'm doing a piece for someone and I needed a specific one and I spent way too much money on it.
They'll always need more. There's never enough. Just like
never enough. Never enough. Like I have a reel on my that's basically that. I don't know if you recall it's like never enough. And I have like all these alcohol things, it's like colors. It's like I had just gotten like 50 new colors and it's like never enough.
Oh man.
Hey everybody, I'm Matt with Wacky Works. Rosie, where did you come up with the inspiration for like those two different? You got two different styles of painting right there. Where did you come up with the inspiration for what it is that you do?
So this one right here. Oh wait. This one right here is alcohol ink. I guess it's one of those things where when I first started, I knew that I was a creative person and especially when I first started furniture, I would look at other furniture artists that had been doing it for years and I'd say like, how do they know? How do they know to like put these colors together? How do they know to put the stripe there? Or, how do they know it's going to come together? And it was just like, I don't want to say copy, but I would be inspired by other people's work. And, I have to say, like, if you're going to do that, you definitely want to give props to whoever your, inspiration is. And really like learning, kind of just doing things over and over. And, you know, I would spend hours on Pinterest, like for one piece or one section of a furniture piece. And then the more I did, you know, I would look at a piece and just say like, boom, I know exactly what that piece needs. Or I would buy it and I would let it sit for, you know, a year even. And then like there'd be a day where it's like, I know what I want to do to that piece. And so same goes kind of with like, you know, when I first started doing the geode art, I'd start following all these amazing artists that, you know, would do beautiful work. And, you know, I would use their either color palettes, or I would look at something and I would say like, okay, instead of doing that as a tray, how can I incorporate it into my furniture? So I would always try to kind of, because I always wanted to make my furniture stand out. And so, I mean, or because a lot of people that are artists will say like they use, you know, nature as inspiration and stuff. And sometimes I'll look at like a sunset and I'm like, oh, I would have never thought to do, you know, those colors together. And I might try those in like a piece, or like this piece, wait, right here. Someone had wanted me to do this ginormous canvas, like huge. It was like 70 inches by 80. It was a huge, it was going to be the biggest piece that I was going to do. And she wanted me to use the colors like on her couch. And she had this like super colorful couch. And I was like, oh God, I would never put those colors together.
She's just showing off.
But I did. And I was like, oh my God, these are the best colors together. And so I did a few. And so I always try like on small, you know, if I'm going to do a big project, I like to, you know, test my colors out first, or do a small tray if I'm going to do like a big, you know, resin art piece. So I don't know. I just look at, you know, different things or pull from inspiration, but I never want to like copycat someone. Someone actually did that to me, and it was really, I did this Dr. Seuss table. It was a few years ago, and I did like this really cool paint pour on the top, and I put resin on it, and then I did, you know, wording and stripes and different colors, and it was a super cool table or desk. And I don't know why I went to this person's page, and she did this same exact thing on a dresser, literally the stripes, the colors, everything.
Feel a little violated, huh?
And it would be okay if like you would have tagged me, you know, but it was like, I would never want someone to feel that I took their work and just copied it.
It's not hard to tag. It's not hard to tag either.
No.
Or message them or whatever and say, hey, check it out.
It didn't even need to be a tag, like, because, you know, it's not like whatever, but just reach out, you know. And so, yeah, that was just kind of weird. Because, again, like how I said, I would Pinterest like hours, you know, looking for inspiration, and that's how I learned. And now I can look at a piece, or, you know, if someone says to me, this is my space, like, what would you do? That my brain works like that now. It's, you know, I can look at something and say, I know exactly what I'm going to do for this space. You know, you need this, and it's just practice.
Yeah.
There you go. Go on, Jen.
Okay.
We know what you're doing, Jen.
There's a question from the chat. Anita says, have you always been creative even as a child, or did you find your creative side out of necessity?
I think it was always in me, but my parents didn't really know how to encourage me. You know, I went to a normal college. I started off at San Diego State, and I was lost. I was like, I don't know what major I want to be. Like, I just was like, oh yeah, communications, or I'm going to do, what was the other one? I don't know, I forget. But my first year I was on academic probation. I was there to kind of party. And I just didn't enjoy my classes because I wasn't learning anything that I really loved. And then someone told me about the Fashion Institute in LA, and I went there, and I mean, I got an A in all my classes. I loved going to school. And so I think that if I were younger, I think my parents just didn't know how or what to do with me. And so like my kids, I can tell that I have 4 kids, and 2 of my kids are very creative. They're, you know, they always want to be doing something with me. And I am so encouraging of that. You know, I obviously have almost every art supply you could want to have. What do you want to do? Like, welcome to my, you know, art store here. But I know how to nurture that out of them. And, you know, I don't blame my parents because they just had no idea. But I think it's something that's always been in me since I was little. Because I think my creativity came out in other ways, not necessarily artistically, like, but, you know, wanting to plan parties or put cute outfits together. I don't know.
Your math homework was very organized.
Yes.
Color coded.
Answers like always right? No.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jamie from JP Woodwork. Thank you for joining us today, Rosie. So, on my travels across the USA, I stopped off at a place called Quartzsite in Arizona. And I know they have something, I'm going to call it like a mineral meetup every year. Have you ever gone to such an event? It's
No.
like,
It's gonna
like
be-
loads of.
It's gonna be a short one.
That'll be a short answer there.
Land on that one.
It's like a huge event where they like have all of the minerals and rocks, and it's like a giant Walmart for minerals and rocks.
Oh, like for like crystal, like for the
Yeah, like crystals and
No, I have not-
amethysts and all that kind of things.
I would love to go to one of those now.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge.
Yes, I would need a huge suitcase because I'm a little obsessed right now, like with all of that and really and understanding what each crystal does for you, you know, and I kid you not, there was one that I got. It was like this tower. I can't even remember the name of the actual crystal. It's like the orangey one, carnelian, I think. And I held it when I got it, and it was like I felt this like surge of like happiness and energy. And I was very skeptical at first of like, oh yeah, these, you know, crystals can, you know, provide certain things. And it was like, oh my gosh, like it was instant. And I'd put it down and then I'd like grab it again and I was like, oh my gosh. It was very strange. And
Did it have a sale sticker on it?
Nah,
a what?
A sale sticker.
Oh, no, it was already in my. I had already purchased it, so yes, but that's a good one. No, it's. But then my friend came over who's super into all that stuff, and she's like, "Well, you need to energize them," and I'm like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. You know, there's only so many
Got
rabbit
it.
holes one
got a
can."
USB port or what? What do we-
I guess the other crystals that I had purchased hadn't been energized. I don't know, because that one definitely gave me some energy. I don't know. But no, it's really cool. It's, I think, learning all about it. I mean, I just did a board for someone. It was for a wedding gift. And, you know, she asked me like, oh, you know, what would be good for a wedding gift? And, you know, I had to go in and research it because I don't know everything there is to know about, you know, crystals. And so I discovered that pink rose quartz and quartz are great, you know, crystals for love. And so I'm still learning, but yes, I would love to go to one of those shows and be able to buy some more.
You might
Cool.
find that one you've been looking for.
Yes.
There you go. Rosie,
Well, I would look for one somewhere other than Quartzsite. Sorry, Joey.
So,
Quartzsite's not the most exciting place in Arizona, that's for
It's
sure.
very, very flat.
Sorry.
So can you give us a layout of your current, like, do you have a workshop or do you have just a craft room? And can you give us a little rundown of the new construction? It sounded like you said you're going to build a new shop. Is this going to be a standalone or what we doing here?
Yeah, so I used to bring out a piece of furniture and I would start it in like the kitchen, and I'd always just like have a little corner, but then we moved into our house here, and I used to be able to park my car in here and still have, my stuff, but I've now taken over. This is like it's a 2.5 car garage, with a lot of extra space. So like you could essentially probably put 3 cars in here, and it's all mine. So I have, I try to keep all the, I have a staging wall. So when I'm done with my furniture, I can actually stage my pieces. But I don't really use that staging area much anymore because I don't do that much furniture. And so I actually have moved. My resin areas have been expanding. And then I have like an area where I keep all my finished furniture and then the unfinished furniture. And then I have a space where I can, it was where I would do all my paint pours. So the floor there is like completely messed up.
Sound like you're psycho like the rest of us.
Yes, it's very. So, we bought this house. Finally after moving so much, we bought our forever home, and so that's where we are right now. And we bought it for the bones. It's a great home, but it doesn't even have enough rooms for our kids. 2 of our kids share a room, and so we plan on doing a lot of, construction here. And so, yeah, my space is going to be a whole new space that will be connected to the home, but not really. So like there'll be an entrance, but with working with resin and stuff, just having everything on its own, separate from the home. And so I would love to have like a really cool, like all the really cool wood working, which I don't even know what would have.
Yeah, like a table saw, kind of everything set up. People try to explain. I have a friend that he tries to come over and help me, and as soon as he starts talking, I'm like, kind of stop this. So much. Like, I finally used my jigsaw for the first time yesterday, and that was like a little nerve-wracking, but now I'm like, oh my God, this is the easiest thing ever.
You should make a t-shirt with that.
Yeah.
Big saw blades, easiest thing ever.
What scares me the most about working with these like saws is I feel like I'm that kind of person that's gonna like cut my finger off. Like I sometimes just am like, I'm gonna do it really quick, or do I really need to do it like this? I can maybe do it a little quicker, but yeah, no, you really need to always wear your eye gear. And
do I really need 9 fingers?
Yeah, it scares me. I'm like, do I really need all these like machinery? But yes, I do, because my ultimate goal is to be able to do like a really, really cool like river table. And so I need to learn about wood too, the different kinds of wood.
I'm still doing it. Still doing it.
Yeah. I bought this huge mold, and I want to do the whole, piece of wood and then do the resin. But I'm like, I don't even know where. There's just so much about everything. When you want to start something new, it's like, it's not just easy. It's like there's always little bits and pieces, and no one really gives like a full video. You have to kind of piece it all together, and so it's a lot.
So like, where do you? Oh, go ahead, Jake.
I was gonna say, some people have got on my videos and say, "You didn't under-explain that, did you?"
And it's like, I understand it though. It's you don't want to. You don't, because there are people out there that will totally just copy you, or just take everything and just it took me, and I'm sure all of you, hours upon hours and mistakes upon mistakes to really get to where we are right now. And so, it's to just be able, just divulge all that information in one video. It doesn't really,
Feels like you're
I
giving
don't know
too much
about-
away.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm just perfect. I just know it all.
Oh.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding, folks listening out there. Don't.
Yeah. So, do you
That would be nice.
do you have a question, Joey?
No, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I was going to start off the icebreaker and say, "Hey, what's a geode?" and try to be smart, but I think it's appropriate now that you could just explain what a geode is for people listening at home.
So, okay. So a geode really is called volcanic rock. And on the inside of the rock is like where the crystals form. But I'm not like entirely sure. I think it's like, geode inspired or like agate is like, if you open it up, it just has a bunch of, colors kind of circling, and then the inside, will have the crystals. But I don't really know like the exact, definition or.
I'm sorry.
Just tell them search bar.
Search bar.
Yes.
So just
search bar.
okay. Let's rephrase it. Like, so your geode art. What can you just explain what that looks like to somebody that's listened that
Okay.
has never seen it?
That makes sense. So
Ooh, that was a horrible question on my part. I'm sorry.
have some people will use, real crystals, or they'll make, you can get a mold and you can make, resin crystals. So you can try to make like a smoky quartz crystal with, different mica powders, and then so you want to add, either the real crystals or the ones that you make with resin. And you normally have, some really pretty glitter lines and then different colors. And so you just try to create really cool kind of, I don't know.
I say it's kind of like Superman's house on the pole where it had
That's
the
what I was
crystals
about to
coming
say,
out
yeah.
and stuff like that. That's how, when I see people do that kind of art, that's what it reminds me of.
Takes away his powers.
Not the kryptonite, you butthole.
Krypton.
And some people love it, some people may not. I mean, it's just a different type of art.
Yeah. Okay.
Jake's fired.
Moving on.
Move on.
I'm sorry, Rosie.
A little easier question for you, Rosie.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
My bad.
I was scrolling through your social media pages, and like you've said, you've gone down a lot of rabbit holes. I saw polymer clay thrown in there for a while, and obviously you do the resin and the alcohol inks and furniture. What is something you haven't tried yet, but you really want to? Besides power tools.
Yeah. So, I really would love to do, like a huge, like resin river table, with the beautiful wood. I think like trying some epoxy floors would be really cool too. But not your like garage epoxy floors, like actual, like artistic. There's some really cool floors out there. What else would I want to try? Some more like textured art, working with some more textures and learning more about that side of it. And I would like to now take some art classes where, I could learn how to actually draw something, not do all like abstract type stuff, because I think that it'd be fun to learn the technical side of art.
There's some suggestions out in the chat, and I am interested in these right now. Also, lasers. Have you ever thought about incorporating lasers into your
Rabbit hole alert.
Another rabbit hole. It's not a deep rabbit hole. I kind of started going down that rabbit hole, and in this, I've met so many really cool people through art, and we'll follow certain artists, and I wouldn't go up to somebody, or not up to somebody, but like message them and be like, hey, tell me about your laser that you're using. But like, we'll start interacting on each other's, posts and stuff, and, and we'll get to know each other. And then, so there was one person I was following, and, she does like really cool stuff with her laser printer. And so she'd asked me something when it comes to, I don't know, something I was doing. And so then I was like, oh, okay, well now I'm going to ask her about, lasers, and, and then I was just kind of like, yeah, it's so expensive, and I would love to be able to do that, but it is very, if you want to like a nice one, and I think for the stuff that I would want it for, it'd be really expensive. I'm like, I just invested a lot into my website, so maybe once I sell a few more things, I can look into some more rabbit holes too.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Nice.
And there's just not enough time in the day. It's just so much.
Yeah.
To do.
Yeah. Go ahead, Matt.
So scrolling through your Instagram, I kind of noticed that you drafted out one of your paintings that you did. Is that something that you usually do? Is you just draft it out, or is it more artistic, where you just kind of go with the flow and here it is? Or how do you go about creating that like that?
So like those pieces, or that one was okay. So I've done 3 kind of the same size, 4 feet by 6 feet, and knowing that I need to mix up so much resin, I want to be able to like really plan out where I'm going to put stuff. And so not only will I kind of like, I think on the one you're talking about, I actually used painter's tape and kind of really, because I couldn't really get in my head how I wanted it to flow on that one piece. And so I needed to visually see it on, because there's different softwares that I've like tried where I can, draw it on my iPad, but seeing it on like a small screen versus like actually on how it would turn out on the actual wood panel. So I did actually do the painter's tape. And then after I did the painter's tape, I actually used some acrylic paint and kind of painted what I was thinking of doing, just so I could really have a map, because you only have so much work time, and if I'm sitting there trying to figure out like what colors I want touching, or what mix is good, I didn't want to have to waste a lot of resin. So on smaller projects I kind of just go with it, but on those bigger ones I like to have a game plan.
Nice.
So when you do a pour of sorts over like a furniture piece, do you happen to take the top off of the base, or do you leave it on there and just protect the bottom?
Yeah, and I've had some pretty like good bloopers, like of huge pieces falling. There was one I was doing that I probably shouldn't have been doing alone. My husband should have been in here probably helping me like move it around. But it was this huge dresser, and it totally just fell back. And like all I could think was, no, all the paint is coming off. And it was like the coolest pour. But it actually turned out to be, and like, oh my God, I just watched the video recently, me trying to pick it back up. Like the look on my face and stuff, like, and it was like Superman came, because I literally just started like thinking all the paint is dripping off, and so like I just had to like pick it up, and then one time my husband and I were doing, because I was doing a desk, and the desk was it was solid wood, it was super heavy, and I was like, because of that the dresser, I was like, I need you to come in and help me move this desk around. And the leg broke off. And it was, again, also like, I was yelling at him, pick it up, come on. Like, once you start seeing it move around and you're like, oh, that area is perfect. I don't want it to stretch out anymore. I just want it to like stay like that. And then when it starts messing up, you're like, oh my God.
Was it okay in the end?
Yes, both pieces were actually like some of the coolest pieces I've done. So
that was a happy accident.
Nice.
Yeah.
Note to self: start throwing stuff down, and it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
So yelling and
Yeah.
hollering and cussing.
Broken toe later because it fell on your foot, but
So Rosie, on social media, which platforms or which of the platforms that you're on, which one's your favorite and why?
none. No, I'm just kidding.
And which one's your least favorite?
Dang it, Joey.
So I would say Instagram is probably like my favorite. But it's just, social media is just so much. There's times where like I enjoy editing my videos, or I enjoy finding a trending audio, but it's one of those things where sometimes I wish it wasn't such a big part of what you have to do. Or, there's sometimes that I just want to come into my workspace and just draw, or, start mixing resin, and I'm like, oh, but I need content. And so I need to clean off this space so it doesn't look like a total disaster in my video. And it's just a lot. I mean, I love it, but I hate it. And there's people out there where I'm like, you haven't taken a day in 2 years. Like, I can't even imagine what that would be like, posting every day. And, Facebook, I have a lot more followers on Facebook, but I don't feel like I get the same, I don't want to say joy, but like the comments I get from Instagram, I don't know, it's just different. They're all kind of different. And then I'm using LinkedIn for more of, like a different kind of, I want to try to get my art into like hotels and, medical buildings. So I'm trying to use that platform for, kind of that avenue. And then now there's Threads, and gosh, and there's Lemonade, and there's just so much. TikTok, yeah. I started doing TikTok, and then I just was like, I'm done with TikTok. Like, it's just really just posting the same videos, but it's a lot. It can be exhausting.
Yeah, very exhausting. And which one do you find a little more difficult to try to post to?
I mean, I try not to make it too difficult on myself. So I'll, whatever I post on Instagram, I'll probably post on, the other ones.
Usually if once you make one, you can usually cross post to like Facebook and TikTok. You can kind of use the same format, kind of just directing to YouTube. How do you find it harder to try to work on YouTube just because doing the long form?
Yes, that. And, I always think, I obviously do what I do because I love art and it's, my happy place. But ultimately I love business too. And I want, I am spending a lot of this time away from my family, away from my kids. And, I want to find a way to monetize on everything I do. And so, when I'm thinking of YouTube, I feel like YouTube is really hard when it comes to the music you put. You're going to get docked for copyright. And again, that's a whole nother thing I need to learn. I need to learn all these. So not only are you learning all these new techniques for art and stuff, you have to learn how to write good, a good post. You have to learn how to, have the right microphone for when you're, the right caption, the app for this, the app for that, this, that, so it's a lot. So it's, there's different ways that I think you can monetize on all the different social media platforms like Pinterest, and it's just learning what you have to do for each one.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different things you got to put into your content that most of the time are going to cost you money. If, like you said, if you don't want to get docked or copyright, hits, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Or like I want to tag or invite, a big company, if I'm using their product as a collaborator, but then it's like, but it doesn't go with my music. And then they have like, that kind of account, and you're like, darn it, how much do I really want to use this music?
There's a couple questions in the chat here. Sorry, if you wanted to add more to that?
No.
Okay. So Mark said, you mentioned using LinkedIn. Have you found that decision makes for the places you are trying to get into are responsive? I don't think he meant to say all that. Are places being responsive?
Is it working
on LinkedIn?
I haven't really, I've been posting to my LinkedIn, and I've just kind of really started trying to, I don't really understand LinkedIn that well. So, I think they have groups. I think, so it's just, I haven't gotten to the place where I'm ready to reach out to anybody, but, I know that that's a place that I want to be. I would love my stuff to be, in a hotel chain or, medical office buildings. So I'm trying to go that route. I haven't really, my husband uses it a lot for his company, and so it works for him quite a bit. And so I think it's just having to figure it out a little bit better for what I'm doing in my industry.
And then Mike says, what are your 3 favorite and best Jamie voice colors to work with?
Colors.
I tend to use blues a lot. I don't know what it is, but I always
settle down, Jen.
Blues.
What is it? What is it with that? Y'all women, y'all all like that blue color.
I don't know.
Hey.
It's the water.
Oh,
blue is calming, and it is the water. Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, easily seen.
I feel like I'm really good at using blues, but then when I try to divert into other colors, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But I don't know if I just don't like it as much because I don't use those colors as much. But yeah, blues are my different shades of blue.
Your
Good
favorite color is blue, and Joey's favorite thing was to mess up 2 of my questions with only one of his questions.
Well, I don't know that my favorite color is blue. My favorite color is like pink, I think. But I like to do art in blue. I did do a really cool purple piece that was very, very cool.
So I'm going to ask you about your website. You mentioned that you spent some money on it, and we're in the same boat. I spent a ton of money trying to get it searchable. I'm assuming that you did the same thing because the social media is the only thing driving traffic to my website. So is that what you're doing with that, or?
Yeah. So when I first started my business, almost 4 years ago, I did one of those template websites, and it's worked great. I mean, I think it looks pretty good for it being something that I built. But yeah, now it's, getting the right people to do the back the back end. And it's funny because like they keep sending me the revisions and I'm like, can't you just do the back end on mine? Because I actually really like what my website looks like. And like, it's really hard because I don't think you're doing it, but we've gone through so many revisions and stuff, and it's getting there. But yeah, it's been, and I'm, it was a lot of money. So I hope it, I hope it works.
Amen, sister. I know, I feel your pain.
It's those little things where I'm like, okay, now I'm, I gotta maybe get some better pictures, and I need to get a better website, and I think a new camera, and do I need one of those little microphones that you guys have? Like, it's just like, there's so many things that you have to, like, once you want to get to a new level, you kind of just, you have to invest in yourself. And
yeah. All right. Starting with Jen right now, we'll do a speed round, and hopefully Joey will get back in here. And speed round. Quick speed round here. There you go.
So my last question for you, Rosie. Do you do the majority of your artwork pieces? Are they custom orders, or do you do more what you feel like doing and then post those for sale on your website and people purchase from there?
I would say like 50-50. I obviously love taking customs because it's out the door and someone's buying it. But then I got to a point where I don't need to take certain, some people, I used to take, all the work I could get, but now I'm very, if it doesn't sound like something I want to work on, either I will, give an estimate where it will make it worth working on it, but I tend to not get those jobs.
God, that's scaring them off.
Yeah.
So I got noticing your brushes in the background. I know you probably use pretty expensive brushes. They're probably not cheap. Is that correct?
Yeah, brushes can be, pretty expensive. And luckily, I've worked with Dynasty Brush, and they have all kinds of brushes, and they've been super, super generous to me. And, they send me quite a bit of brushes. But yeah, you want, especially when it, came to, all kinds of art, like you want to make sure that you use good quality brushes.
Yeah. So have you learned how to clean those yet, or a reminder to clean those yet?
I'm terrible with cleaning my brushes.
That's good stuff.
I've gotten really good at like cleaning the worst of worst brushes. I can always get them pretty good, but there's only so many times that a good brush can go through that kind of abuse. So, I say to myself, like, I've made some pretty funny reels too, like on it. It's just, I say to myself every time, like, don't forget. And then I walk into my workshop and I'm like, oh, forgot my brushes.
I've seen the reel where you showed how to clean them, and then I showed the reel where they weren't clean.
Yeah, I have like the empty cup where it used to have water in it, but the water has evaporated and the brush is like super hard.
Wow. So I know a lot of people that actually collect stones and minerals. Do you collect them, and have you got a favorite?
I'm starting to collect them. And when I first started buying them for the first piece that I was going to do, I had no idea like what I needed. And so I actually kind of bought like stuff that I could maybe eventually incorporate, but like I've just decided to put them up all over my house because I don't know that I'm actually going to put them in my art. But I think they're all so pretty. It's so hard to pick. I just started a new piece and I'm like playing with a new type of crystal that I've never like used. I haven't even really gotten one in my hands yet, but just buying them, I was like, oh, I need that one. I need that one. I need that one. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Mic check. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear
Yes,
you.
sir.
You're
Yes,
frozen.
sir.
Yeah, that's fine. We're just gonna go with it. Who is an artist out there that you would love to meet, or that's a big inspiration to you?
Jake, you might know Reed. Reed? Yeah. So Reed actually was one of the artists that got me wanting to try alcohol ink. And so like I feel like she used to do a lot more like alcohol ink work, and now she does a lot of the flower preservation in resin. But she's always been someone that's, super nice. I've never talked to her on the phone or anything. It's just all been through social media and having, conversations in our DMs. But I don't know. She seems like someone that I would want to meet. And she was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to start trying alcohol ink. So cool. I've been following, and there's so many other artists out there that, I've been following that are just so talented.
Thank you.
So right now, Rosie, we're going to start wrapping this up. So give us a little bit of what's coming up next for you. If you got anything that you want to tell the listeners, we've got all your information down in the description below, but go ahead and shout yourself out. Let us know where to find you, or the listeners out there where to find you, and we'll move on.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I really want to try to push right now is my online courses. I feel like I finally got to a level in what I do where I felt comfortable saying I could teach somebody how to do what I do. And so I have a resin basics class. It's just really gives you a breakdown of all things resin. And, it's a good starting base for beginners. And even someone, I even learned a lot putting the course together. There's so much that you learn, or that, it's just kind of like you're just doing that. You don't really think, super technical. And so anyways, and so then I have, some more experienced courses like the geode course, where you want to have those resin basics, or have at least worked with resin for a little bit before taking the course, because I don't really break that down too much. And then I have a paint pouring course to do on furniture. And then, if you just want to top coat like a piece of furniture, I have the resin top coat course. And I want to put out more courses, but I want, a lot more people to take my courses. I've gotten great feedback on my courses. And then I just want to try new things, and grow as an artist, and put some cool pieces out there.
Where can they find those courses at?
You can find them on my website, so brushedrestorations.com. And cool. So, I have those courses, and then I'm going to put out some more mini courses, like, how to do tumblers, basics on tumblers, or, smaller boards that are, pretty basic. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Jenny.
Hello, Rosie. Thanks for coming and chatting with us. I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better. This week I have a nighttime market, and so I'm just getting products ready for that.
Selling flashlights or what?
That's about it. No.
Okay.
But I did Amazon Prime shopping and got some battery powered lights to put in
that's what
the
I'm
pop
talking
up.
about.
So
those markets are tough. I've
involved.
only done one, and that they are a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but this second time doing this one, and it was successful the first time, so hopefully this one will be as well.
There we go. Matt.
Right now we are finishing up the burls and everything for the tabletop that we're doing for the resin river table that we're pouring, and that's about it right now.
Jamie Pie.
I'm going to be doing some turning projects. I've just got another new little shed that we found in the street. So I'm going to be loading that up with stuff that's in here, so I can get a new radiator ready for the winter. So I won't be cold out here. And then we've got cartoons on Saturday.
Yeah. It's like Jamie said, we have cartoons on Saturday. We have some giveaways. We're making cool stuff. In the next couple weeks, I'm going to have an unboxing video of a pretty cool 3D printer. So stay tuned for that. And it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It worked too.
I'm a bit frozen up, but we're
Sucker.
gonna roll with it. I guess we're having some technical difficulties today, but anyhow, Rosie, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. Next week on the podcast, we have David with DM Miller Designs, and it'll be same time, same place. Please, everybody, go to your favorite podcast and leave a review. And we need 10 stars. Remember, 10 stars, no less. But for myself, I'm still working on this office renovation to get the 3D printers all kind of put in one place, and then the new office desk and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we got some pretty cool stuff coming up. You'll be seeing it as I get time to put it out.
Hey, why are you blinking that whole time? You're just blinking the whole time.
Oh, well, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I see. Anyhow.
He's like a ventriloquist.
Dang computers. Anyhow, we're going to pause and we're going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. And we will see y'all next week. Same time, same place, same beautiful faces. And we're going to pause a little bit. And
Bye.
Go.